Hey, I'm back, and in this video I'm taking you through my very first peak race experience, from the travel to the prep to the race, and my thoughts and opinions after the race. I hope you stick around because this was a fun one. Let's get into it. You can't use my stereo right now. We're gonna be listening to podcasts straight off the phone for this 5.5 hour ride. A little less than optimal, but what do you do? All right, crew, so we're about 2 hours and 40 minutes away. Took a quick rest stop, running head in there. Grabbed some things to eat, couple things before the race that I'll probably have for tomorrow morning. Everything's going pretty smooth, traffic's nice and easy, nothing too much to complain about, but I'm gonna try and keep this kind of short because I want to get there before the sun goes down. It looks like the ETAs right now is like 6:10 p.m. So we're gonna keep it short and we're gonna go in there and grab a couple things. So we finally made it up. Not too bad of a drive overall. Sun's a little bit lower than I thought it was gonna be, so we're gonna go in there, check in, go get the shakeout in. I was gonna drive downtown, but I feel like I'm running out of light and running in the dark somewhere, I don't know, probably not the best idea. So we're gonna head inside. I've never made a hotel reservation for myself, so for all I know, I screwed it up and there's no room for me. Let's do it. All right, we did the thing, we did good. We're in a room. Losing daylight, so I'm gonna keep this short. Gonna go hit a run real quick, just a couple, I don't know, like 3 or 4 miles, and just get the legs shaken out, and we're gonna come back, go get some food. This is interesting. This is the first time I've ever gone out like this, so yeah, let's go do the thing. This is the first time I've ran my phone ever. I feel that's crazy. I'm just out here. Alright, so I just got back from a little shakeout, just 3, nothing crazy. Yeah, for what I've been dealing with the past couple of days, it was fine. Nothing I'm too concerned with, but not feeling the greatest. I'll get into that after we go eat, but did a little bit of a pickup at the end, just to get the legs nice and turned over. Getting ready for what tomorrow has to offer. So, with that being said, let's go get some food. Alright, sit down here real quick and let's chat for a second. So, alright, so tomorrow, big race. It's funny to think, starting this cycle back in June, May or June, I don't even remember. It seemed like October was so far away. It's already here, so that's pretty exciting. But there is kind of a caveat and a little bit of the reason kind of why I haven't been posting lately, other than I've been swamped with schoolwork and a couple other life things. This last month has not really been the best for training because I've been dealing with pretty nasty tendonitis, particularly patellar tendonitis. I think I personally overcooked myself on my highest weekly mileage, which I was trying to hit 90 that week and it just didn't happen. I also got sick that week, so I don't know if that weakness in my body just lingered and that's what kind of aided to it. I don't know. So last month I've been on and off running and I'm still not 100%, which kind of sucks. But I have been getting better. Not to say I'm 100%, but you know, it could be worse. A couple weeks ago, it was pretty bad. So what does that mean for tomorrow? Well, personally, I don't know if the PR train is still on. I don't really think it is. We're kind of dropping back to another goal, which is finish as highly in the race as possible, right? Last year I looked, if we went off my PR, I get second last year. I lose to the top guy by about 30-ish seconds, going off PRs though. But you know, a lot of things can happen. But yeah, like I said, it's definitely a little frustrating. So go for tomorrow, top 5. Be pretty cool, top 3, even better. At this point, I'm just under the mindset of go out there and do as best as I possibly can. And what happens, happens, right? I still have some pretty high hopes and maybe tomorrow will go better than I expected. But for now, I'm gonna chill, drink some electrolytes, and rest up and get ready for tomorrow. I'll see you guys bright and early, probably about 6 a.m. Alright, crew, it's about 7 a.m. A little bit colder than I expected it to be, but we're gonna head down to the race course right now. I'm not used to the cold, so this is an interesting development. But it's not too bad. It's like 40-some degrees, so I guess after I warm up and everything, it should be fine. But for now, it's a bit chilly. So I got here to watch the 5K to see the type of athletes that were here today, and the winner just won in 16 flat. So I don't know how well it's going to translate to the 10K, but if that's what we're going with, this is definitely winnable. Everything holds up well with me, and I don't start to hurt too bad. But I feel like if I'm in the running for the win, we might be able to block some of that pain out and go for the W, which would be sweet, because you get to break the tape here. I would like to break the tape. So, but if last year's any indicator, it takes 31 low to win this. So we're gonna see. Hopefully today's a good day just to get out there, run hard, and just have some fun. I will admit, the bib with the name is pretty sick. I gotta tell you, this is the more and more I hang around, this is a fun atmosphere. The more and more I'm here, the better I'm feeling. So, pretty solid. All right, here we go. Switching to a little man cam so we can go into the warm up. Thinking about doing a 1.5 miles, grabbing those vapor flies, and then coming back, heading over to the start, warm up to the start, after the back drop off. Good job, guys. I guess you could say I'm gearing up to run. I'll see myself out. All right. Warm up one complete. Leg feels fine. Not perfect, but honestly pretty solid. I am on a lot of ibuprofen right now. So that makes sense, but feeling as good as I possibly can today. So switch out shoes, we're gonna go get lined up. Alright gang, so these are my initial post-race thoughts. It's pretty good, considering how hilly the course was and the last month that I've had. I had a lot of fun today. I'm not going to get into it too much until we go home, because I have a 5.5 hour drive home, and I like to get there ASAP because I have homework to do still. But it's going to be 5.5 hour drive for me, but for you guys, it's going to be back home in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. It's actually the next day. Told myself I couldn't record the final part of this video until I finished all my homework, and I did that, so here we are. Let's go over kind of a race recap, right? One main thing I want to stress is how smart I ran this race, because we went through like the first 1.5 miles to 2 miles, and we were running like 5:15 pace, not too hot. There's a couple times in there where we go downhill and kind of carry momentum. We'd be running like 5 flat to like 4:55 pace. At those paces, I actually felt really, really smooth, to the point where I was like, okay, I feel like I can turn the heat up a little bit, but I didn't, because I knew that miles 3 and 4 were gonna get ugly, and they got ugly. Miles 3 and 4 had a huge amount of elevation gain. It really taxed me. You can see in the splits just how much I slowed down over those last couple miles. And it was right around mile 2.5-ish is when I lost contact with the leader. I tried to make a couple moves up the hills, and I did close the gap up a couple hills, but unfortunately, it was just not quite enough, and he was able to continue to put distance on me through like the back quarter of the race. But this race was a lot of fun, and I did not expect it to be such a huge venue. I mean, there was live performances, thousands of people there. I mean, this really felt like a big city race, just in a smaller town. That's kind of part of the reason I chose it, is because it had a lot of the big streets in the town shut down for the race. It really felt like I was out there racing at like one of the big major events. There was people lining almost the entire course. There were a couple points where you're running through town and there wasn't as many people, but there was a healthy amount of people around each section of the course that kept the atmosphere really positive and really lively. So with that being said, this is the end of my first training block, and I'm glad that I brought you guys along the way with it, even though I missed the last month of vlogging. So for my next training block, I'm gonna rework some things, and I'm gonna be able to bring you guys behind the scenes of training a little bit more and be more open about my training, so that I can share what I've learned with you guys, and hopefully you can share things that you've learned through your training with me, and we can get faster together. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Go out there, chase your goals, chase your dreams, run fast, and I'll see you next time. Bye.